Hey guys, what's going on? Garanex here, bringing you another video on 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. This video came out one day earlier because the patch notes were also released one day earlier. So just to let you know that the maintenance time is earlier than usual. Now the usual maintenance time is 10 PM to 12:30 AM Pacific time, which is about 1 PM to 3:30 PM Singapore time. But this particular maintenance will be from 4 PM to 8:30 PM Pacific time, which is about 9 AM to 1:30 PM Singapore time. And in this update, we are getting Chapter 11 and also a double Monspeet banner. So let's go over Monspeet and see if he is worth summoning. First of all, we have the red Monspeet. So his first skill inflicts damage equals to 240% of attack on one enemy on rank 1. On rank 2 is 300% of attack and fills ultimate move gauge by 1. And on rank 3 is 500% attack and fills ult gauge by 2. His second skill inflicts weak point damage equals to 80% of attack on all enemies on rank 1. On rank 2 is 110% and then on rank 3 is 170%. So weak point, as we know, there will be triple the damage against debuffed enemies. And his ultimate removes stances from all enemies and inflicts damage equals to 280% of attack and applies 2 ignite effects for 4 turns. His passives, the hero takes 30% less damage from ultimate move, and his commandment, allies and enemies will not gain ultimate move gauge from using skills in PvP. First impression of red Monspeet is more or less meh. Looking at his kit, he seems to be more meant for rushing ult in order to get ignite stacks so that you can deal additional damage because of weak point. But his weak point attack is an AoE attack which has much lesser damage as compared to a single target damage. At the same time, it also contradicts with his commandment, so it makes it more difficult to rush his ult. So if you want to build a team with red Monspeet, you have to make sure that your team is not reliant on ult. Gear wise, I would go for HP defense set. Since his skill kits make it very difficult to deal huge amount of damage, I would prefer he survives longer and prevent the opponent from gaining ult gauge. Next, let's take a look at green Monspeet. So his first skill inflicts weak point damage equals to 120% of attack on one enemy on rank 1. On rank 2 is 180% and on rank 3 is 300%. So weak point deals 3 times the damage against debuffed enemies. His second skill inflicts damage equals to 220% of attack on one enemy on rank 1. On rank 2 inflicts 220% of attack on one enemy and depletes 1 ult gauge. At the same time also deletes one of the target's cards. And on rank 3 is 360% of attack, and depletes 2 ultimate move gauge and deletes 2 cards. So it's very interesting that he randomly deletes the cards on your opponent's hands. And his ultimate is the same as red Monspeet. His passive increases damage dealt by 100% if attacking enemies with ignite debuff. And his commandment is also the same as red Monspeet. First impression of green Monspeet, I feel like he's definitely better than red Monspeet just because of how his skill kits are not contradicting itself. Although he also has a weak point attack which requires his ult to give him ignite stacks, that can easily be solved by having another unit with ignite to put up the debuff. And pairing it with his passive, this will increase his damage by another 100%. And using his commandment, he prevents the opponent from building ult gauge. And if they move cards or use skills to fill up ult gauge, green Monspeet can use his second skill to remove that again. So his entire skill kit actually works better. Gear wise, you can go with attack defense since overall he has more damage than red Monspeet and his passive increases his own damage as well. Or you could also go with HP defense to stay alive for as long as possible and prevent the opponent from getting ult gauge. Now there are some points that you might want to take into consideration before you summon. So first of all, green Monspeet is a coin shop unit and red Monspeet will be in part 2 banner. And secondly, Derieri might be coming next week because of PvP rules and also how she is related to Monspeet. And number 3, we are very close to the 6 months anniversary, which means that there might be some festival units or some limited time units coming soon. So you might want to take those things into consideration before you spend your gems on them. So with all this information we have, should we summon or skip? I would say you should summon if you're a whale or collector and you like to have a complete box, but I would say you should skip it if you're free to play and saving up gems for future more game changing units. I would personally skip this banner because I prefer to use teams that don't have a huge negative impact on my own team. I feel like his commandment just takes away or slows down an option to deal a huge amount of damage in a single turn. So I prefer to be able to get my ult easily. And I'm also saving for LV Melee and Goddess list, and also original characters like Eastin and Shin. I hope this video gives you some insights into both the Monspeets so you can decide if you want to pull for them or not. Regardless of what others say, you do what makes you happy, and that's the most important thing. If you wish to have some discussion with like-minded people, consider joining my Discord, link will be in the description below. If there's anything you wish to add on, feel free to comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross videos. That's it for today, take care and have a great day ahead.